Hello, everybody. How you doing? Dale Robbins, co-host. That's right, a blast from the past, a little bit of a reunion here on Northwood Replay in 2018. Fred Kelly, good to have you back. Statman do. Fred knows more numbers than most economists do in 2018, so it's great to have you back. Thanks for setting in for the vacationing Rich Violette down in the Carolinas somewhere where it's warmed by an ocean. What do you bet? And as always, Coach Leonard Haynes, the head coach of the Northwood Timberwolves here in 2018. Well, Coach, we had a struggle to begin our season, and all of a sudden we're looking to become a 3-in-a-row winner. You've placed a couple of wins together. Huge win under last weekend for our homecoming at Northwood University against Davenport. They came to town and they didn't have a chink in their armor. They came to town 6-0. You change that and put a chink, and you send them home 6-1, and you pick up your second win in a row after having won up in northern Michigan and Marquette 2 weeks ago. Got to be, I'm not going to say a different atmosphere in your locker room and on the field, because you've talked about the attitude of these young men that play for you this year. But there's got to be a different kind of an energy now as you prepare to take off to Detroit this weekend for Wayne State. Describe a little bit about the growing pains of 0-5 and now the celebration, even though you quit celebrating Sunday because you're 0-0, even though you're 2-0 in the last 3 weeks. But what's any dynamics changed on the field, in the locker room, attitudes? What does 2 wins do for you that 5 losses didn't?
Well, I think it shows that you're improving, and I think guys, although I think our guys always believed, we went through that spell of, losing 5 in a row, and, and that's not what we expected, obviously. Right. But even then, those guys kept their heads up. They kept grinding. They stayed positive. That's one thing we're preaching, stay positive. They stayed positive through the whole process. And we preach about the process and just trusting the process. And so now you're starting to see a little bit of the fruits of the labor, that all the work that they put in. And thank God we were able to rally, and come back and get 2 wins under our belt. And so, and obviously winning is fun. We always talk about winning is fun.
Right.
And so that just even adds more fuel to the fire, and guys just want to keep getting better.
It shows.
Well, we always talk about in homecoming you want to represent well. You got a lot of alumni back, a lot of people come to watch. You want to play well. And I thought you guys played extremely well, probably as physical as I've seen you play in a long time. I really thought you pushed them around. You got a good push up front. Defense played great. Was that the most physical game you guys have played this year?
Yes, Fred. I think I might have said that after the game. I think that was one of the most physical games we have played as a football team, and the most energy that I've seen in our football team. I mean, the sideline was rocking, the freshmen in the end zone were rocking, and therefore that stuff is contagious. So all of a sudden the crowd's getting into it because our guys are into it, and they never let up. And so I told them that on Sunday when we meet. I said, that's the most energy I think I've seen since I've been here, and I've been here a long time. And but these guys, I tell you what, they're hungry, they're excited, and I'm proud to be their coach.
Well, Coach, the Woodbone offense means you're going to get a lot more on the ground than we'll see in the air. I'm going to talk about your fullback play over the last couple of weeks because you're grinding. Levy and Corey Burgick. Yeah, Burgick. They both, Levy was close to 100 yards. He finished the day on 97. Corey was nipped right in behind him. You had 55 carries on the ground, and it was a solid portion of your offense, 241 yards on the ground. That allows what you do out of the option some flexibility. Talk about your fullback play a little bit and how those boys have responded.
Oh, man, those guys really earned it. I tell you, they've really earned it. We've done some different things offensively just to get those guys more involved. And I tell you what, just to see those guys, the work that they put in, the day in and day out at practice, to see it now, again, starting to come to pass, right, is incredible. So, I know they've been due for a while. And those 2 guys are, some of our best players. And so we figure, hey, we're going to put the ball in their hands and let these guys tow it and see what happens. And so, it was great to see it. We almost had 200-yard rushers in the same game. But again, that's just a testament to what our offensive line is doing, and what those guys, the work that they've put in. So it's collectively, as a group, we've really come a long way.
And you did that against a team that came in allowing only like 50-some yards on the ground per game.
Yep.
and you got him for well over 200, so that was a big win, right? And that's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, you get a team that's coming in there, defense ranked the top 10 in the nation, and then rushing yardage, I think they were 2, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been 1, but you know, hey, they coming in with you know, with all this energy, and you know, got a little bit of swagger, as you will. And our guys, hey, what we do is run the ball, so something has to give at some point. And Davenport's a good football team, and for us to do that against a good football team, you know, I think the future is pretty good for us.
We had talked about early in the season how the big play was killing you, penalties were killing you. All of a sudden, you've not trailed, if I may, since the second quarter up in Marquette, going on 3 weeks ago now. You got your first lead up there, and you've not relinquished that now over a couple of ball games. You went on today, and for the first time, led the game, and you never trailed again. And a big play is what was on your side this time. The big pass to Gary Landless from sophomore quarterback Christian Martinez going the other way. That, too, means the hard work and ethic that you put in that says stay true to it and stay focused and believe in it. It shows that everything you guys have been preaching in 2018 is now coming to fruition a little bit, because your players, I would say, are acknowledging, or at least showing, how that kind of mentality has been helpful.
Yeah, I think, you know, our guys, they hold each other accountable.
Right.
And one thing, and again, they believe, and so they fight and play for each other. And, you know, I talk about our culture being relationship-driven, and my thing is these guys, they love each other, so they're going to go out and battle for one another. And so, yeah, they bought in. They bought into each other more so than anything, and that's a good thing to have on a football team when players are bought into each other. Right. And so, you know, you talk about that play with Christian Martinez. You know, it's Cardinal saying to go and throw back across your body across the field.
Contortionist.
But, you know, he's such an athlete, you know, and Gary's such a good football player. You know, they just made it happen, and I'm sure we see that on the highlights here a little bit, but that was an amazing play, you know, throwing that ball back across the field. You know, first thing you think, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be an interception.
Going the other way.
But Gary came up with the ball, and he took it all the way in. So that was great to see.
Talking about highlights, rumor has it we have a few, and it's not just a few we have several. Offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah.
Let's go over Saturday's win of Davenport in Midland, Michigan.
All right. We'll get things started off with the defense here in this highlight. And great play by Mikael Sanford. And so a good pick for our safety. He's been coming along every week now. I think he had a pick last week, if I'm not mistaken. And here's the play, I believe, where Martinez scrambles and throws across the field. I hope he's listening, as you really don't do that, Martinez. But we came out on the good side.
He had 4 guys on him, Coach.
He had 4 guys on him, but he's pretty cool and calm under pressure. And that's what I like about this young man. And here's Corey Burgett, one of his hard runs, kind of right up the middle. Little zone option. He takes it down there to about the 22-yard line.
50-yard run.
50-yard for Corey. That was great. And here's David Reiser on the field goal. And he's been really getting better each week. Yes, he's becoming real solid, getting more confidence back there. And it's a great play by a punt block unit. Gary Landless gets the block. You know, obviously, you know, special teams changed the game. And our special teams unit, I would agree. Coach Arnold, they do a great job with our special teams. There's great culture there. And here, you know, Davenport breaks it up for a little draw, open it up a little bit, but then we strip it and we get the ball back. That's little Noah Brown recovering the fumble. That's a true freshman they're playing for. So, you know, our guys were relentless all day. And here's another good hit. Physical hit. You know, and then you talk about the physicality of the game, Fred. That's been great. And here's a little fake field goal right at the end of the half. Now, we fumble it, but I believe Gary falls on it to get the score.
He's over the line.
Yeah, he was over the line. And here's another special teams punt block deal where Davenport bobbles the ball, and our guy goes in to make the tackle, sets us up for a score. And it's a good sack, a great play by Josh Dabney, who's been playing excellent football as of late for us. And here's a little pass where our linebacker strips the ball. You know, we always talk about carrying the ball high and tight, or defensively, we always talk about going for the strip. So, and that was great to see there by our defensive guys. And then here's Abdul Levy, nice hard run right up the middle. Again, he's been coming into his own. as the
Three
season's
guys for
progressed.
about 11 yards.
Yeah, he's a big man. And here's Martinez kind of a little bit improvising on the option. I think he sucked everybody into him, and then the pitch man was open.
Coach.
Very creative. So he does create.
I'm guessing you didn't draw it up that way.
No, you don't draw it up that way. You just let him play.
Here he goes again.
And here he goes again for another scamper, getting us closer to the end zone. Then we take this in basically to seal the game for the score, and he celebrates with our freshman right there in the end zone.
But you got a lot of good blocking, only on the line, but on the edge, your receivers blocked well.
Yes.
But everybody was kind of involved.
Yes, everybody was
making
involved.
making that running game work.
Yes, and again, it's been coming. We've seen flashes of it, so now it's starting to come together. And so you got to keep it going.
Well, there's our win in week 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other recap scores coming out of the Gliac this last week, Coach.
You see Saginaw Valley over Northern Michigan. That was a home game for Saginaw. Ferris State, Grand Valley, what a great game. I know some of the guys watched that on TV where Ferris State poured that out at the end. Wayne State falls to Michigan Tech, 23-10 in a close game there. Conference standings, Ferris State's right now is right at the top at 5-0 in the conference. Grand Valley, Davenport, Ashland, Saginaw all at 3-1. Northwood's at 2-3. You got Tech at 1-4, Wayne at 0-4, and Northern at 0-5.
Ferris is ranked number 2 in the nation now, I think.
Yeah, they are number 2 in the nation. Then looking at overall records, you have Ferris sitting at alone at 7-0. Grand Valley 6-1, along with Davenport, Saginaw 6-1. Ashland's 3-3. Tech's 3-4. Northwood's 2-5. Wayne State and Northern rounded out at 1-6.
In the minute we have left, Coach, in our first segment before we meet one of your players, we talked a little bit about your offense finishing. We've talked a little bit about your defense finishing. We've talked a little bit about the key component that special teams brings to this Northwood football team. You, if I may, are firing on all cylinders, and you've got a group that believes.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. These guys believe, and that's the thing we've talked about has been focus and finishing. You know, we preach that at practice. We emphasize it at practice. And guys, again, that's what they're doing. They're buying into it. They're buying into what we're talking. And that's all you can ask for a team. And even when we went through that spell, like I said, these guys always kept their head up.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's all starting to come to pass, you know, all this hard work that they've put in. And so now it's, you know, finishing is a huge thing for us. And we're finishing drives, we're making tackles, we're getting off the field defensively. Special teams are making big plays. So that's what it's about, the whole team concept.
Speaking of big plays, you know, sometimes you make your own luck, you know, by working hard and staying after it. And you forced, I think, 5 fumbles last week.
Yeah.
Some big plays on special teams. I think they had 1 long pass play, Davenport did. But other than that, you really didn't allow them to get in a rhythm. I thought they looked on their heels the whole game. So you made big plays happen in your favor this week.
Yeah, you know, that's something I think you and I talk about, Fred. You know, having big plays and explosive plays, things of that nature. And so, you know, it's good to see it all starting to fall into place. You know, and as coaches, we can be very impatient. And, you know, obviously, if you're starting out 0-5, it's not a good feeling. But, again, these guys just stayed true to it. And, you know, they worked on their fundamentals, their techniques, and things are starting to go in our favor. You're right. And so you got to work at those things and emphasize it to actually get the results.
Talk about those players working at it and going through the process and believing. We've got one of the youthful leaders of this 2018 force into action play. Can you go next man up, or can you go 4 next man ups? We're going to meet him. Christian Martinez, a sophomore quarterback for the Wood. He's out of his gear and sitting at the table with Fred and I in Northwood Replay right after this. Hi, welcome back, everybody. Dale Robbins, Fred Kelly, and beneath the helmet and in the huddle with number 3, Christian Martinez, a sophomore out of Muskegon Catholic Central. It is great to have you on set, and it sure is great to have you on Saturdays at the helm for the once injured, still injured Joey Garbarino, who started the season. We talked about the next man up mentality. You saw that peel itself away to the 4th man up on the depth. And Christian, I got to tell you what, you've been an absolute pleasure to watch grow before my very eyes in the last 3 weeks. Explain that a little bit about I don't know that you were expecting it coming in. You were getting some starting time. Great wide receiver. You're creative on your returns. Did you see yourself in this position when you went to sleep, or did you just wake up and it was happening? What's that do?
No, I mean, it just happened. You know, I never expected this season to go how it's gone, you know, to start out at wide receiver, return punts. I mean, I didn't even know I was going to return punts to start the season.
Sure.
But I eventually worked my way into that position, and I always thought I was capable to help this team at quarterback, but it worked out that it was at receiver, and, you know, a couple games in, everything just changes, and it changed quick, but I was ready. I felt like I put the work in the offseason and in the spring to be successful or to help this team in that position. So it was an easy adjustment, and my teammates, they definitely made it easy. You know, the running backs are playing great, the line's playing awesome, so it was a smooth adjustment.
Everybody talks about at the college level how much faster the game is. So after 3 starts now, is it slowing down for you?
Yeah, the game's slowing down a lot. Yeah. I mean, playing last year helped. I think the game was still a little fast last year. But now the game, it feels like high school, like an advanced version of high school again. It just, everything's slowed down. Each week you feel more and more comfortable. But I think, you know, especially with the first start being against Grand Valley, that was a good way to get broken into the level and at the quarterback spot, because things do happen a lot quicker, I feel like, at the quarterback spot than at the receiver spot. So it's slowed down a lot.
Getting ready for your 4th start of the year, so the 5th week of work for you. They're opening up the offense to you a little bit. It was fairly straightforward for you week 1 against Grand Valley. It showed some expansion 2 weeks ago up in Marquette. You certainly showed some of the creativity you bring to the position against Davenport. Do you feel like you have more arrows in your quill now? Like you've got some more things to do. Your pitches and your option plays are very creative. You seem to be able to expand your role based on what Coach Riepma's given you from the box as offensive coordinator.
Yeah, we've expanded, you know, more and more each week. The first week we looked at the call sheet. It was a very basic, simple game plan. It was fine. I think we moved the ball well that game.
Right.
We controlled time of possession, but each week we're adding more and more. We're doing more with some motions and some play action, and I like it. We added some more concepts, and I mean, I'm ready for whatever. If we keep adding more,
bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. I think we're all capable of fulfilling that.
Yeah, you haven't thrown a ton of passes, but you've completed some big ones, and it's been important. I think you do a good job of just keeping plays alive, you know, getting outside the pocket and so forth. Was that a strength for you in high school too?
Yeah, I think I've always extended plays but I've extended the throw. Sometimes a lot of people, they scramble, but they take off and run. I think I like to scramble, but I like to keep my eyes downfield and, you know, throw it as much as I can. I don't want to run if somebody's open downfield. Because also as a running quarterback, when you leave the pocket, a lot of people tend to come up, and that's why a lot of things happen downfield. So that's always been a strength of mine, and that's something that I like to do a lot in the pass game as well.
Saves your body a lot of wear and tear, not getting hit repeatedly too. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Running the ball a lot.
Yeah, you have faced some big defensive lines and some linebackers that are hungry to show you D2 football. I'm always excited about the fact is the chemistry between you and your receivers, between any quarterback and the receivers, is real important. However, the last 2 weeks in a row and all your completions, you just keep picking different guys, man. You haven't got a number of targets on an individual. You are spreading the love. You've got everybody in that entire receiving corps. That's got to be exciting for you and your receivers.
Yeah, we all have a good connection because I was in the room with them, you know, the first couple weeks and throughout camp. And then I think they're all very capable. And so a lot of them are on the field now. We got a couple true freshmen playing, and they're going to get more involved. But, you know, I think they're all capable, and so it's good to get them all involved. And I think that's been very promising to see all of their growth week in and week out as well.
So what's the vibe like right now? You're coming off 2 straight wins, a very good win last week. How are you guys feeling about the way things are going at this point in the season?
I think we're very, I don't want to say happy, because we are happy to an extent, but we're not satisfied.
Sure.
We want to grow. We want to keep winning. You know, losing is not fun, and we feel like there's a lot more that we can do. So, you know, we were relieved to get our first win, but we know there's so much more out there, and we left some drives out there Saturday, and special teams set us up great as an offense. So you know, the team's got a good vibe, but very hungry, still very hungry.
Well, if it helps, Christian, we're not satisfied either. So we're excited to see the last third of this season evolve, and knowing that you're going to play a good part in that, you and your youthful backfield and some of the leadership behind your offensive line, that it shows that you guys are a continuing cohesive relationship unit. We're excited for that. So good luck against Wayne State, and you get to play under the lights, so it'll be like football weather for you guys Saturday night. Christian Martinez, our guest, our player guest here on Northwood Replay. Great to have you. We're going to find out a little bit more about the depths of the Warriors at Wayne State. We'll bring Coach Haynes back out and cover what's on tap in 72 hours for the Wood. Stay where you're at, Northwood Replay, whether you're YouTubing it, you're podcasting it, or catching us on the TV. It's everywhere you are. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Again, a special thanks to Christian Martinez as being our middle of episode 8 guest. Great to have him along. Coach, giving a little bit of love to some of these youngsters who are you're parting ways with. We've seen a lot of your upperclassmen to date. This is one you get to continue to mentor, and Christian is one that will be in your midst for the next couple of years. A little bit about, from a coach's standpoint, of a youngster with that kind of enthusiasm.
Great young man to have on your football team. You know, actually, and I should have mentioned this earlier, Christian actually transferred from Davenport. And, and he came to us, and we inserted him as a quarterback initially, and then decided, hey, we need to get him on the field, you know, because of Joy and everything, and moved him to wide receiver. And so we just knew we had something pretty special there, you know, after going through spring ball. But he's a young man that just wanted to help out. You know, he called. I remember last year we were trying to figure out what to do with him. He actually called me and initiated moving a wide receiver because he just wanted to help the team. And so, you know, again, he's just an ultimate team player and very cool, calm, collected young man. Yes.
All right. Well, looking ahead at Wayne State, you know, we were talking a little while ago, but you can't take anything for granted in Gliac. No. And Wayne's record may not be great, but as you mentioned, they've had some close losses. A very physical, very big team usually. Good running backs. It's pretty much the same this year, right? Yeah,
typical Wayne State. You know, I believe, you know, you hit the nail on the head. They're a physical team. They're always going to be physical. They want to run the ball. They're going to use some play action things and try to get the ball down the field to their receivers, who's very skilled. Their running backs are very physical runners. You know, that's their MO. That's who they've always been. And so every game is, you know, you got to come ready in the Gliac. It does not matter who you're lining up against. It does not matter the records. You got to come ready to play.
Well, Coach, their all-purpose yards are averaging about 400 yards a game. Their total offense, they're averaging about 300, and they really mix that up well with their running game. They're fairly elusive, and they usually run a 1-2 punch down there. They've got a sophomore quarterback for them. A-Rhyme is the youngster's name, and he's got a few starts underneath his belt. But really, we've talked about it certainly the last 2 weeks consecutively. We match up well on paper, and I know you always say that that doesn't necessarily tell the tale, and it doesn't. But you and your staff and your players have got to feel pretty confident, even in a road game, because you were spoilers a year ago and for their homecoming. Your intention now, they're looking to get off the schneid, having lost 6 out of 7. You're looking to extend your streak to 3 wins in a row. This is going to be a good matchup come Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. You know, yeah, we you know, on paper it should be a great game. And at the end of the day, you know, like Christian said, you know, we're a hungry football team. Yeah. And I'm sure Wayne State's hungry. And so whatever that means, you know, we're going to figure out who's going to eat, I guess, on Saturday. and so at the end of the day, we got to do what we do, and we got to do it well. We got to execute, and we got to finish. We got to continue that trend to be successful. Because, yeah, Wayne State, you know, they'll have some little energy with the homecoming and festivities going on down there, and that's fine. And we just got to show up and be ready to play.
You bet.
I did like what Christian said about, you know, we're very happy. We're happy to be on a winning streak, absolutely. But we're still very hungry, and that's really the only way you can approach football, isn't it? I mean, you know, you just got a lot of season left, and they're going to be just as hungry as you guys.
Exactly, so. and right, he hit the nail on the head. You can't be satisfied. You can't be satisfied. Yeah, we're happy, and it's fun to win. Don't get me, it is fun to win, but now we got to move on to the next one and figure this one out. And so at the end of the day, hey, we got to stay hungry.
Do you find that last Saturday against Davenport, we had a great turnout? Of course, we had a couple of reasons for that. The weather was spectacular. It was auto show weekend, and it was our homecoming weekend. But you guys are playing, typically, whether it's on the road or at home, you're in front of a couple thousand people. And there was energy last week all game long. You talked a little bit about your sideline and that enthusiasm. That builds even on the road because, you know, we don't fill the stands as visitors, but we usually get a pretty good contingency of those gamers who believe in you guys too. I see your boys playing for those individuals as well as themselves and for their staff. You sense that?
Oh yeah, I sense that. They're playing for the fans, their families, you know, people that come out to see them, and so, you know, we talk about homecoming, you know, at Wayne State. Basically, it's homecoming for a lot of our guys because they're from around that area, so including myself. And so my family and friends will be there as well. So, you know, it'll be a different type of energy, but a great energy for us as well.
We take a look at this Saturday's game down in Detroit, Michigan at Tom Adams Field at Wayne State University. That is a 6P kick, Coach. You're underneath the lights for that come about the second quarter. And, of course, always on 1490 AM WMPX and go Northwood.com. Get your live stats, get your live audio. And we are excited for that run. Let's take a look at this week's coming schedule.
Yeah, this week's schedule here, you got Grand Valley at Davenport. You know, they kind of dubbing that now it's a battle of the west side of the state, you know, from things I've heard. And we're down at Wayne State. Lawrence Tech plays Northern Michigan. You know, Lawrence Tech's a new football team, NAIA school, I believe now. Ferris State is at Saginaw Valley. Should be a good game. Saginaw's really playing well this year. And Michigan Tech is at Ashland. Should be a good physical football game.
In the minute that we have left, we're not going to look past Saturday because you never let us. But we're going to take a look at, you know, you got Saginaw Valley and the Axe Bowl coming up here. That'll be a special day on Northwood's campus with our Go Mad award from a year ago and our volunteer with our Go Make a Difference Day. And you get the big network showing up. ESPN3, I believe, is coming to town. They're going to shoot that as a part of the award. And Dave Marsh, our award-winning athletic director. And then we close out the season up in Houghton against Michigan Tech. I'm not going to look that far forward again because you won't let me. But you got to 0-5 with the potential of ending up 500 has got to end right deep in your heart. Go, you've got the crew to do this, and they're proving every week that they believe that that's a possibility.
Yep, one game at a time. Now.
I know. I know. You're right.
One game at a time. Yep. So we do not. We just focus on it now.
We healthy? We healthy coming into?
Yeah, we're healthy. We're healthy, and some guys are getting back, and so that's a great thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And you get a bye week.
Yeah, then we get a bye
some
week.
more time to you know, heal up, right?
Very much needed bye week, because, you know, we've got a lot of guys that's out, and some guys are coming back, but, you know, it's going to be very much needed.
Good part of the season to get that break.
Yes, to get that break, get these guys recovered a little bit, yes.
Well, as always, this time goes very, very quickly. Thanks for coming off the field and out of your office and meeting with your boys, because whenever I see you talking, you always have a conversation going on with one of them. So that connection, when you want to talk open door policy, this man lives it that way. So we wish you nothing but the best at Wayne State. For my co-host, Fred Kelly, for our always special guest, head coach Leonard Haynes, my name is Dale Robbins. Here on MCTV, we ask you every week, and we believe you're doing it because Midlands is a great place to live. Go away and go away mad. Go make a difference. We'll see you next time.